So it looks like the FTC's case against Microsoft is officially over. We've got this statement here, which I'm going to go through first because it's kind of important and has a bearing on what's coming next. But it seems the FTC's own administrative law judge has denied a motion by the FTC. This is basically the FTC lawyers went back and cried, "Mummy and Daddy, look, this judge denied our claim and put it through. We're coming to you now because you're part of our organization. We know you're biased and you're going to side with us." But then it turns out that their own administrative law judge slapped them in the face and told them to piss off and prevent it, and basically said, your motion is denied. The FTC tried to prevent Microsoft from presenting at the ABK merger trial starting July 21st its agreements with Ubisoft, Sony, Nintendo, Boosteroid, Nvidia, and where Ubisoft as relevant material. Now, why is this important? It's really important because if we're seeing here, Complaint Council's case is based on the theory that with control of Activision's content, Microsoft would have the ability and increased incentive to withhold or degrade Activision's content in ways that substantially lessen competition. So what the FTC is still saying that is that Microsoft is going to withhold, games from other platforms. The fact that they're putting all their games onto other platforms, day and date almost. They've already put all their pillars and have announced their pillars for other platforms. That's apparently that is Microsoft withholding, degrading, or basically making the games exclusive to Xbox. How many more times can Phil actually come out and say, we don't care for exclusives, and their actions speak louder than words? However, there is no dispute as to the relevance of the agreements to this case, given that Microsoft intends to offer the agreements into evidence at the evidentiary hearing to support its defense. Complaint Counsel's contention that without the existence of formal analysis, Microsoft may not discuss the effects of its agreements is unsupported and therefore rejected. Whether such analysis exists is a consideration that goes to the weight to be applied to the evidence, not its admissibility. So, though the FTC tried to make this inadmissible, the fact that Microsoft is actually putting games, so they're basically trying to stop Microsoft showing that they are putting games onto other cloud platforms, to other consoles. They're trying to prevent Microsoft from doing this so they can actually go to the court and say, hey, look, these Microsoft is gonna if you say yes to them, they're gonna basically turn around and say they're gonna, they're withholding information. And so by trying to get these documents ruled out and made inadmissible, that would really hurt Microsoft. And this is probably like some of the scummiest thing lawyers can actually do because they're basically trying to cheat the system by making documents which are legally correct inadmissible to try to get a decision overturned or changed or in their favor, essentially lying within the legal system, but lying in a legal way. This is how far the FTC has actually fallen. But however, a few hours after that, we had this from Brad Smith. Today's decision is a victory for players across the country and for common sense in Washington, D.C. We are grateful to the FTC for today's announcement. And it says, in the matter of Microsoft Corp, a corporation, and Activision Blizzard Inc., a corporation, on May 7th, 2025, the Ninth Circuit affirmed the decision of the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, FTC versus Microsoft Corporation, denying the Commission's application for a preliminary injunction to block the acquisition of Activision Blizzard Inc. by Microsoft Corp. The Commission has determined that the public interest is best served by dismissing the administrative litigation in this case accordingly. It is hereby ordered that the complaint in this matter be, and it hereby is, dismissed. So, what does this actually mean? And there's, in contrast with the actual other statement, we also have this from Tom Warren, where it says the FTC has dropped its case against Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. That means the FTC versus Microsoft is officially over after nearly 2 years of legal battle. And there's, he's saying, read my article for further details. Now, it's really interesting because we've got the other case on July the 21st. Now, there's the discussion saying that this is more PC and cloud related, which is not related to the actual merger, and it could actually be a separate case that the FTC has opened. But the original case has closed. It's done and it's over. Now, what the other case can implicate, or if it's even still active, is unclear because none of these statements have actually spoken about the case on July the 21st. Now, it's interesting because the angle in which the FTC is trying to target this at is that Microsoft can still withhold games. And that is absolutely true because they can. Microsoft could have been playing the long game. And let's be realistic, as soon as all of these are done, and if any of these are closed with prejudice, so they can't actually be reopened, Microsoft tomorrow can turn around and say, right, all our games now are exclusive to the Xbox platform. We no longer have to pander to the wills of the FTC or anyone else. Or, the games that we've promised that are going to be available for 10 years, like Call of Duty and other games, those will still be out there on multi-plat, like the Overwatch. But anything else that we make is going to be our game and it's going to be exclusive to us. They are in a position to do that. Whether or not they're going to do that is a different matter. And the FTC, I assume, is still arguing that this is still a thing and this can happen. But Microsoft has made every attempt to show that this isn't happening. In fact, Microsoft has shown that it is willing to put its games anywhere by devaluing its own console. It's been doing this for a long time, and that this is not an Xbox campaign, has been, at the forefront of just how much they have devalued their brand. In fact, I would go as far as saying that even now people are referring to the PS5 as the Xbox Series P, pretty much part of the ecosystem at this point, because everything is an Xbox, because everything can play an Xbox game, whether it's natively or through the cloud, whether it's on your phone, your tablet, your Chromebook, your laptop, your PC, your TV, your games console, your PlayStation console. It doesn't matter. You can play Xbox games on all of these, whether it's natively or through the cloud, which basically dilutes the actual effect of the actual console. It kind of makes it no longer the central focus, and that's exactly what Microsoft has wanted, because this opens up a whole new chapter for Microsoft. Don't forget, this is a $3 trillion company. They've got money to burn, and what the FTC has essentially done is basically said to Microsoft, hey, we know we've made you pivot and change your direction, but now we don't really know what you're going to do anymore. Are you going to now make things exclusive and then we can't really do anything about it anymore because the case has been dismissed? Or are you going to go the complete opposite way and become another embracer group and just continue to swallow up companies because essentially you are now a third party publisher in everyone's eyes, whether it's, journalists, PlayStation fans, they're all calling Microsoft Xbox a third party publisher. And this works in Microsoft's favor because if they want to go and buy a studio, now they can because they're a third party studio that doesn't really have a platform. Sure, they have a store, but you can buy their games from all other stores. You don't have to buy it from that store. There's nothing forcing you to buy from that store. There's no exclusivity there. So, what Microsoft has done here is completely outplayed the FTC. But at the same time, they could, if they really wanted to, if they could ever close Pandora's box. I mean, it's called Pandora's box for a reason. But if they managed to actually close Pandora's box, and believe you and me, that is a lot more difficult than it actually sounds. Because as a shareholder, if I'm earning now a hell of a lot of money because these games are going multi platform, and you're going to turn around and tell me, well, by going exclusive, I'm going to earn half of what my investment is that I'm earning now, I'm going to have a problem with that because I like money. And so I want more money. That's literally why you invest, right? So the shareholder situation there is the key. But if Microsoft does actually manage in 6 months' time to start saying, hey guys, now that everything is done, everything is exclusive to Xbox, it's going to be interesting. Now, personally, do I think that this is going to happen? Absolutely not. I think they've kind of gone too deep into this now, to this whole multi-platform approach where it's just too late, or they just weren't interested in going back to the ways of old. But the fact that the possibility is there, or the fact that certain games can now, without any thought, be made exclusive to the Xbox platform is interesting. Again, will they do it? I don't think so. Should they do it? That's another matter entirely. But the reality is, this is now a possibility. And so, this is why the FTC, with that first frame that I showed, was trying to do what they were doing by trying to get those relevant materials thrown out to show that Microsoft is still this big bad company. The FTC just doesn't learn. However, based on what Brad Sims is saying and what Tom Warren here is saying, it's officially over after nearly 2 years of legal battle. So maybe that June 21st is something completely different, or maybe that July 21st, sorry, is actually completely dismissed as well alongside this one. Either way, whichever way you look at it, not only has the FTC wasted taxpayers' money for over 2 years, we're talking millions and millions of dollars here, completely and utterly wasted in the face of, that money could have been used in so many other better ways. But Lena Khan and her crew tried very hard to actually combat this and, get this rejected, and failed miserably. And all their attempts just continued to fail. They've lost 3 times in the Court of Appeal already. So enough is enough. Stop wasting taxpayers' money. But at the end of the day, Microsoft has officially won and have beaten the FTC. And what will entail now over the next 6 months is going to be very, very interesting. Are we going to see that really aggressive Microsoft return from yesteryear? Are we going to see them make their games partially exclusive, timed exclusive, fully exclusive? We really don't know. Or maybe they're just going to go the other route entirely and start gobbling up more studios to make Game Pass more enticing. Either way, it's really unknown how they're going to approach this. But the one thing the FTC has done is inadvertently given Microsoft so many cards that it can play with that I don't think the FTC realized just how screwed up they actually are, or how much they screwed the pooch on this one. But folks, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. This deal is officially, as far as everyone's, as far as Microsoft and Tom is concerned, over. And it is. Whether that July 21st has any bearing or whether it continues, time will tell, because there's no information on any of these posts about that July 21st dealing. So maybe that could be technically a different case that is linked to this in like a separate branch. So I'm adding this in post-production because I did reach out to Florian on X. It seems it's finally over, and I assume, and I said that, Florian, correct me if I'm wrong, but the June 21st case is gone too, right? Because, earlier in my video, I said that this was something that was looming over, and he has said the July 21st, but yes, game over. So I think I said here June, and now he's saying, yeah, the July 21st case is over. That's gone too. It's game over. It is done. So that case that I was talking about, I said June 21st here, it was July 21st, but that July 21st case that I was mentioning earlier on in the video, that is indeed over as well. It looks like there's going to be no case for that. It's done. It's a done deal. It's finished. It's over. But this deal is over. So now all eyes are on Microsoft. Will they actually now turn the tables and start being as aggressive as humanly possible and turn around and start saying screw you to everyone that wronged them, be it from publishers to anyone, absolutely anyone that has wronged them? Now they can show their teeth, their gritty teeth, and actually take action. Or are they going to go the opposite route and want to gobble even more of these companies that, said no to them in bad faith and make those games on Xbox Game Pass forever? It's going to be an interesting time, that's for sure. And I'm here for it. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see what Microsoft will do. Maybe we'll finally start to see those Activision games appearing on Game Pass as well. People have been asking for them for 2 years since this Activision deal went through. Maybe now's the time. Who knows? Time will tell. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. And don't forget to leave a comment. I do love reading your comments. I'm trying something new after I move, and hopefully your comment will be featured in an upcoming video. If you want to support me further, you can do that via the super thanks underneath the video or by becoming a YouTube member. Don't forget, I also stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. After the move, obviously, there's going to be like potentially a long week for the next week where I'm moving. But after that, it should be business as usual. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. But if you do want to support me free, simply dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, and leaving a comment is a really good way of supporting what I do, and it helps me continue doing these videos and streaming. So thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.